So we got some rain last night. Woke up, well, I was watching a cloud. I tried to stay up. I just couldn't stay up. There's a cloud coming right for us. I'm like, we're gonna get it. We're gonna get a good rain here. Woke up middle of the night and about 1:30, it was coming down pretty hard. So I checked the radar. The cloud that was coming towards us all afternoon took a sharp turn east, and we were just gonna miss it. But the rain that we were getting, a cell popped up literally on top of us and was coming down pretty hard. Here at the house, I heard a little bit of hail, real light, so thought, well, it's good. We got a little rain. Our gauge said 1 inch. I gotta move it. It's not in a great spot, so good rain. So I'm going to check things out. However, talked to my dad this morning, and he sent me a video of his house, and he had a ton of hail, marble and some golf ball size. Just still this morning, still on the ground. I was at 1:30 a.m. Still ice on the ground this morning. So that's not good. So I'm heading that way. I'm going east or west to this farm in Stonewall County to check it out. But after that, I'm going to near his house because I'm afraid I'm going to see a lot of wheat that's been smashed to the ground. Well, I didn't show you any of the field. I got to talking to a neighbor Jesse. So anyways, you have to just take my word for it. We got 1.1 inches at this farm we call Glory. That's like a flood out here. We just don't get rains like that. So 1.1, can't get really out to the wheat, but it was dry. You saw it last time. Dried up and probably not gonna make much wheat, but we still need the rain for everything else. Okay, here's some wheat. This is a neighbor of mine. He's on my parents' road, and he had some really pretty wheat here, and you can't tell it. It is pretty well hammered right there. So the problem is that this is directly west from my parents' house and directly the direction that the cloud went. So it's gonna go right along here, and there's my parents' house, and the farms are all over this road. So this was earlier than ours and further along, so I don't know, we'll see. But there's some hail remnants washed up, filling up this tank back there. Well, hard to tell from the road. This wheat wasn't great anyways, but I can tell it's definitely shredded a little bit. It's you still see heads up, but I can just tell it doesn't look quite as uniform. Some of the wheat further that was a little bit greener between what I just showed you and this doesn't look near as bad. I'm guessing that other stuff was further along, a little more dry down and brittle and just broke it off. The other that's a little greener handled it a little bit better. So I don't know. If the hail can do this to the trees in my parents' house, then for sure there's damage to the wheat, even if I can't see it from the road. To show you some of this damage here, stuff that's just kind of laid over. So yeah, obviously there's still some that are standing. Not a great deal here, but stuff that's just broken over. Yeah, heads on the ground. Shouldn't look like that. Okay, it looks like 1.1 here. Problem is that wheat's up the field. I won't be able to get to it until the roads dry out. Right, this field, 1.4". So the challenge I see here, I'm not an expert. That's challenge number one. But we got wheat over here that's way more developed, and I think it looks pretty good. I may walk over there and see if any heads are kinked over there, but I don't think the hail was as bad over here. So if I'm looking, in here, I would expect to see some heads that are kinked over or on the ground, and I don't see much, if any, of that right here. So maybe we lucked out and didn't get much hail. Most of it was east or over there by my parents' house, and maybe played out by the time we got here. I don't know. But also it could have been a little bit further this way, and I just can't get down that road right now. Well, I don't know. Maybe we might have avoided a total just disaster there on the hill. I don't know. I may say that totally different when it dries out and I can get out there and see, but I definitely saw some damage near my parents' house, and looking at the trees, yeah, that makes sense. There was definitely a lot of hail there. Again, but what I can see from the road, I saw some definitely there. But the place I was just at, I don't see it right there on the highway. Doesn't mean it's not patches throughout. So we'll get out and look at it later. But maybe we're okay. But we'll wait to celebrate until we know for sure. All right, out here at the last field, our best wheat, our earliest wheat, got 8,500s here. And okay, so this is south from my parents' house. This house right up there, my mom asked the lady she knows there, and they said they did have some hail, pea size. And so I checked the field further up that corner, so it'd be really close to that house. I didn't see any damage in the wheat, so we might have dodged a bullet here. Now, obviously I'm not gonna drive all the way to that corner, but I checked the furthest northern, kind of northeastern corner of this field. It looks okay. It's better down here further south off the hill. I mean, I don't see a bunch of heads broken off or kinked over. I see, some of this it's matured and ready. That's just, I don't know, that may have actually not, I don't know, there may not be seed in there. That's weird. But I think we're okay. I hope we're okay. I walked out more around my parents' house where the hail was for sure the worst, right by the house. And I don't really know what I'm doing, but I would say maybe around 50% damage. Hey guys, welcome back. Just finishing up this field. It's about 155 acres. Just have this one little strip here left. And then I've got one more field, 100 acres. And I'm gonna do that tomorrow because I'm gonna drive. 30-minute drive there, about 5 hours of plowing, 30 minutes back. So I'll get that done tomorrow. Got some kind of thunderstorm chances this week. It could be nothing, or it could be lots of hail and rain. Just that's the kind of the time of the year we have right now. But up next this week, this is the last wheat that I planted, and didn't get as much rain on this northern end of the field. Got more down there. So it looks a little bit better, but it has noticed there's a lot better green color. That fertilizer I put down, I think it started taking that up, and that made a big difference. But right here, along this, there's a terrace, and I don't know if you can see it or not, but the seed heads are more developed there as it kind of follows, and the wheat's smaller. And then if you look out over here, it's a brighter green color because those seed heads haven't developed yet, or as much. They're starting to now, but yeah, looks good. I don't know how any of this is going to do, how it's going to make. We'll see. Well, I drove on the four-wheeler out here to Mom and Dad's house because I hadn't been able to check the fields further south because it's been really wet. And well, there's the house. I'm about halfway down, and there's been little pellets in the ground all the way through from all the hail that we've had here. So there's definitely hail on the wheat, and yep, broken over. See if I can show you. So like right here, it's got kind of a bare spot right there, so probably some hail hit that right there and knock some out. I don't know if this top part will survive or not. The bottom probably would be okay, but you'll see some of that, kind of some bruising, and that's just knocked off and destroyed. I'm gonna meet with the adjuster. Today's Monday. I'm gonna meet with him on Wednesday, and we'll have him look out at this stuff. So the question is going to be, how much grain's out here? We have to pay someone to harvest it. Obviously that costs money. Will I make enough wheat to pay someone to harvest this? Because I don't want all this wheat to stay in the field, because then I'll have a volunteer wheat problem. Now, stuff that's on the ground, it's going to be there because the combine could not pick it up anyways. The other option is to could bale it. pay someone to bale it also. That would be another way to get the wheat out of the field. So that's what I have to decide. Good news here though is I was able to drive. We got 2 farms east of here. Everything to the west is good. The clouds didn't get that. So it really started between these 2, grandma's house and parents' house, and started there in between and just kind of worked its way east. I think that the path of the storm went here and avoided farms on either side. So just this one, I think. I'm gonna have them look at our one in Old Glory because of a possible drought claim. But so far, 2 farms out of the others. Obviously don't want anything to go bad, but better than all of them being bad. Okay, now I'm at the very south end of our field, the boundary between some earlier wheat and that was better because it was not after cotton, and ours. This is probably worse in some ways. There's more just kind of sawed off here. So hailstone marks on the ground, stuff just broken over. Okay, so another ramification of all this rain and hail is if you saw all the little dinks in the ground. So that hail actually can compact the ground that was just plowed and loosened up, and I may need to run over that again to bust that up so that the planter not having to do all that work. So that's fun. The other thing is, this is where the oil pipeline that I hit was, and they had built up a mound of dirt to make sure that we knew where it was, and it's not much of a mound anymore because water likes to run this way, and it eroded some of that. So just a reminder: yellow pole, oil line, yellow pole, oil line, don't hit it again. All right, on the east side, this field is split into kind of thirds. So the east patch of the wheat looks about the same. This is a waterway. It holds a lot of water and it's real silty, so I could get stuck out here. But wheat was better because it's good silty dirt, and it stays more wet, moist, if you will. But looks like about the same amount of damage. The good thing so far, hopefully I won't stand corrected. The rain, I bet that we got 1.5 inches here in about 20 minutes, what Dad thinks, and which is a lot, really fast. I think most of the scraping and stuff that we did for the second time looks like, for what I've seen so far, held up. So I've got to go back down this way and I'll know for sure, but that would be nice. Well, I don't get paid to do this, but it looks to me like it's worse here on this east side. I don't know, there's more wheat, and so I guess more opportunities for things to get knocked over, but as I look across, it just looks more beat up. I mean, there's just more kind of stuff on the ground. Stuff broke over, stuff that's damaged. I don't know. It was decent wheat. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think it's good and worth keeping? What kind of appraisal do you think I'm going to get? I don't know. Let me know. Just walked outside to check on the plow. About 50 acres done of this 100 acres. It's plowing really easy over here. This is the first place I started strip tilling. We got a little over 1 inch here last week. It's kind of wet here. I wouldn't even say really wet, but kind of a low spot right there that holds water, and but the rest of it's plowing really good. One of my favorite smells, here I'll give you 2 of my favorite smells. The smell of rain. I can't explain it. Rain just has a smell, and it smells really good. And freshly plowed dirt. It's got to have some moisture in it, otherwise it's just dusty and no smell really. But freshly plowed dirt. Walked out of the tractor just right here, and just that smell hits you. I don't know how to explain that smell either, but it's a good smell. All right, finished. 100 acres done. Now I'm going to drive it to my parents' house and plow that field for the 3rd time, but hopefully the last time. I'm going over here at Mom and Dad's house. Just got the plow set with Dad. Man, this ground is hard. That crust is thick. So the rain it rained first, and then the hail came and just beat down on that wet dirt, and so just packed it down like crazy. So we actually had to lower the shanks down 2 inches because nothing was going in the ground before. On the stuff that was just had got rained on, that I've been doing the coulter disc in the front, we kind of compact the trench, and then that shank was kind of right behind it, and it was doing a little bit more, but there wasn't a crust or anything, and so that those discs were just pulling in smooth dirt. Well, here the coulter wasn't compressing that much at all because it was just really hard, so it wasn't compacting anything, and so then it wasn't getting down at all. So then the shank wasn't doing anything, barely scratching the top, and so the discs were trying to do everything and just pulling in the crust and leaving it really cloddy on top. It's still, I'll get out and show you here in a second, but the clods are still there. We're not going to be able to do anything about that. All right, so it's a little wetter down here, so not as great of a picture, but so here's our crust layer. I mean, that's all just hard clod. So I'm doing some work. That's pretty dry already, and so that's going to be there. Hopefully we get another rain to kind of help dissolve those down. Here's our shanks. They're now covered. Before, you could maybe see the top of that chisel tip. Here it's a little bit softer. That the coulter's is compacting that a little bit. Further back that way, it was a little bit harder, and we weren't getting any compaction. A little bit more like this. Again, right next to the wheat, it's a little drier, and you can see that. I mean, you can just tell it's cloddier. So, anyways, if we wouldn't have done this, then for sure the planter wouldn't have been able to go in the ground. Dad said one year he had to do replow a couple different farms, and the ground was so rough and hard that it chewed his tires up pretty bad. So it's not that bad, but anyways, third time's a charm on this farm, I guess. All right, well, that's going to be the end of the video. I've got to run to baseball practice, and got the plow set, I think, pretty good. I may need to change the tilt a little bit. It's maybe a little bit too flat. I need to pull it towards the tractor a little bit. The discs, when I was down the field, were kind of grabbing and pulling me around, but glad I got those shanks down. Hopefully we can get this busted up and then get nice, easy rains from here on out till planting, and that we can have a good seed bed for planting. But anyways, that's the way it goes. You adjust on the fly. I'm learning that every day with farming. So anyways, thanks for watching. Appreciate it. If you're gonna farm it.